In 2017, Volvo hit the headlines by announcing its pledge to go all electric from 2019. What the press took that to mean is that there would be no more petrol or diesel powered Volvos from 2019 onwards. But what the Swedish company actually meant is that all of its cars from that date onwards would have some form of electrification. Now we're a few years down the line from that announcement, the distinction between being fully electric and an electrified car is quite important. And in this CarGurus UK review, we're going to look at the new Volvo XC60 B4 and explain why that is. Remember, you can keep up with the world of electric and electrified cars, as well as petrol and diesel models, by subscribing to the CarGurus UK YouTube channel, where we publish 2 new reviews each week. And be sure to turn on notifications by ringing the bell icon so that you never miss when one of our videos goes live. So what exactly is the difference between an electric car and an electrified car? Well, an electric car does not have an internal combustion engine, and an electrified car combines the power of electric power and a petrol or diesel internal combustion engine. That might be a standard hybrid such as the Toyota Prius, a plug-in hybrid such as the Mitsubishi Outlander, or a mild hybrid such as, well, this Volvo. With a mild hybrid, there's no option to plug in and charge the battery, and you still get a conventionally sized petrol or diesel engine that you would get in a standard petrol or diesel car. And in the Volvo XC60 B4's case, it's a 2-litre, 4-cylinder turbocharged diesel engine. To this, Volvo has added a mild hybrid element in the form of a 48-volt system that recovers energy when the car is braking and can then reuse it to provide a small boost to the internal combustion engine and improve the performance of the stop-start system. Volvo says you'll get savings of up to 15% when compared with a standard car. Now, it's not just this one that gets the mild hybrid tech. There's also a B5, which confusingly comes as a petrol or a diesel, and a B6, which comes as a petrol only, and all of them are 4-wheel drive. One advantage of mild hybrid technology is that it doesn't take up much space, which means the boot of this B4 is just as big as you'll find in any other XC60, which is to say not quite as big as the boot in an Audi Q5, but still large enough for family clutter. And you can of course fold the rear seats to create more space. This second generation Volvo XC60 has been on sale since 2017, and we know it's a practical family car. These rear seats are easy to access thanks to the wide doors, and easy to find ISOFIX points so you can clip in those child seats without a problem. Now, while you can't get it in 7-seater guys like you can Volvo's flagship XC90 SUV, you can comfortably transport 5 people. As with all modern Volvos, the XC60 has a satisfying weight and solidity to it. This feels like a car that's built to last. It's really telling of the quality and design that the dashboard has barely aged since it hit showrooms, and that applies to the design and materials, which are really lovely, and the technology it offers. Okay, so you don't get the same level of customization as you do Audi's virtual cockpit. However, the dials are easy to follow and they look smart. The control interface is also easy to learn, largely because Volvo has limited the physical buttons to a handful on the steering wheel and a few more on the dashboard itself. Everything else is controlled via this touchscreen, which has its pros and cons. On the plus side, it's quite easy to navigate and it works a little bit like a tablet. So this main screen has got logical menus laid out. Where it gets a little bit tricky is when you want to access further screens, such as the driver assistance. And if I just swipe right to get to that, you're then presented with a lot of buttons, and that's quite tricky to do when the car is stationary, let alone when you're driving, trying to concentrate on the road and change something on here. Here's a point with these mild hybrids, such as this XC60, you can't drive under electric power alone. So if you want that smooth, silent kind of performance, you'll have to go for a full hybrid or full electric car. And if you're expecting that diesel engine to be quiet, well, at idle and under acceleration, you will be fully aware that it is there. What the mild hybrid system does provide is a tiny bit more power. We are talking around 7 horsepower, so it doesn't turn the XC60 into a top-fuel dragster, but it does add a little to the driving experience. The mild hybrid tech doesn't make the XC60 feel faster as such, but more smooth, especially when pulling from low speeds. It doesn't have that hesitancy that you can get from diesel power alone. The B4 model is plenty quick enough. It gets from 0 to 62 miles per hour in 8.3 seconds and revs eagerly up to motorway speeds. The more powerful mild hybrid B5 diesel will pull that 0 to 62 miles per hour time to just 7.1 seconds. Although it might be worth bearing in mind what kind of an SUV the XC60 is before committing to spend the extra money for more power and speed. That's because the XC60 is far from a sporting SUV. Quite the opposite, in fact. It's a vehicle that's designed to make you feel relaxed and calm. It's not to say that there isn't enough grip if you want to push it, and you can go fast in it if you want to, but often you don't want to. And that is reinforced by even on the 21-inch wheels that we've got on this test car, the ride still feels relaxing and comfortable. But what about the potential fuel-saving benefits that are supposed to come from electrifying the XC60? In our hands, they've been marginal to non-existent, which is quite surprising really, because when you put it in eco mode and then take your foot off the accelerator, it readily goes into coasting mode. But the reality is we've struggled to get any better than 40 miles per gallon from this B4, which is about the same as what we got in the D4. Now, admittedly, the D4 is front-wheel drive and this is all-wheel drive, but we really would have hoped for a more meaningful saving in fuel. It's fair to say that if you're coming to this electrified Volvo expecting some kind of hybrid experience and significantly reduced fuel costs, you're going to be disappointed. The reality is, unless you knew you were in a B4 rather than a D4, it's almost impossible to tell which one has been electrified. So essentially, the B4 feels like just a normal diesel, although it is ever so slightly smoother to drive. With CO2 rated at 151 grams per kilometre, it's not like it's going to benefit from programmes that are aimed to promote electrified cars either, such as discounted company car tax or exemption from congestion charging zones. Best to think of the B4 then, and indeed other mild hybrids, as an extension of internal combustion technology rather than a standalone class such as a full hybrid or electric. So while it doesn't add much to the XC60, it doesn't detract from what remains one of the most desirable premium SUVs on the market today. Do you think mild hybrid technology should fall under the definition of electrified? Let us know in the comments. Please do subscribe to the CarGurus UK YouTube channel as well, and remember that when it comes to finding your next car, you can easily find great deals from top-rated dealers at cargurus.co.uk.